We're here today to do a personal environment consultation on the home behind us. It is owned by a family of four, husband and wife, and two young children, ages 4 and 7. Since they are really not going to be here for our consultation, what we're going to do is go through the process that we usually go through when we're evaluating and doing consultations on a home. And that is, first we're going to observe the existing conditions and then see how those existing conditions may affect the psychosocial interactions of the people and members of the family. And then finally, maybe we should talk about some of the solutions that could change some of these qualities of behavior and psychological response. Yeah, it's really kind of an informal entrance. It sort of maybe sets a tone for what's going on inside.
Yeah, yeah. And then the steps is a transition space from this level up to the deck.
Yeah. What I notice is that there's a good flow here of the patterns, you know, of the stairs going this way, but the entrance is this way.
So, the recess.
Yeah. So we can, so it has a good transition space. Voice change. Notice how you know, we're going definitely from the outside to this space that's half outside and half inside.
And up again another set of steps.
Yeah, you know, it's a kind of enriched little experience there.
Yeah.
Shall we go in?
Yeah, let's go inside.
Okay.
So now we're in the entryway transition space, yeah, which is mimicking the outdoor transition, and the importance of entry and departure.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely, there is a suggestion of the place of arrival here. But you know, what I'm noticing is that the arrival space is really linked and connected to this very, very strong axis going right through to the other end of the house, so that the sense I get is that the arrival is being diluted almost instantly by the urge to travel down through the axial space.
Right, which is being reinforced by the floor pattern as well.
Yeah, yeah. You know, one thing they might consider doing is to create this as more of an arrival space and maybe dilute some of the strong axial flow would be to maybe lower the ceiling down here from this point over, and then that'll start to resolve this as a separate entity space, and then we'll go into a
lower the ceiling in the hallway.
Yeah, lower make a compression space here, and then a release space in there, and that'll set this space off as more of an arrival space and as a departure space. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I feel what I see here is that we've just left the arrival space and we're moving in this axial space, but the problem I'm really seeing here is that we have all of these circulation patterns and systems coming through here. We have the stairs going up, we have the stairs going down, we have a space back here. I don't know what's really behind here, but all of the circulation is coming in this one little spot, and this spot means that this is like an arrival from all these spaces. But the space is saying don't arrive, just keep moving, and I think that's a real problem here.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a conflict.
Yeah.
I think probably one of the things that'll help, it's difficult because of limited budget, but you know, we're not here to relocate walls and openings and so forth, but the lowering of the ceiling and possibly changing colors from the entryway through this transition zone into the next space will help at least reflect more what it's about.
Yeah, yeah. I think what really concerns me too is that because this is a place of conflict, a potential place of conflict, it's going to be a potential place of real stress. Just in the psychosocial dynamic of the people living here, constantly. I mean, I see this as a real place where they're going to constantly be bumping in. So I think any kind of an alteration or fine tuning we can make of what this environment is would really be helpful.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You want to go on?
Let's see. Let's see where this leads to.
Yeah. The dining room.
Yeah, no, this space has got a lot of interesting quality, being the dining room, you know, a place for social gathering, and yet it's in a space of primary circulation. You know, we've got the entryway from the hallway from the entryway. We've got an entrance into the kitchen. We've got an entrance into a little retreat library. We've got an entrance into to the formal living room, and then we have this major opening into the family room, and so it doesn't really create a strong sense of place.
Yeah,
which is working against the primary focus of eating, social time.
Yeah, what I'm seeing here is kind of a recapitulation of the space we were just in.
Yeah.
And there's a potential conflict here. I mean, people are walking through, people are getting up, and there's all this potential bumping. And this isn't a small house. You know, this is a fairly large house, but the way it's organized right now, the furnishings, it's creating this sense of conflict.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it may be, this may be one of the spaces that before we leave today, we might be able to, you know, make a suggestion of how we might rectify this. You know, another problem I really see in here too is that the long length of the table here is starting to create another quality of axis. So not only do we have the axis of the space here moving in and flowing through, and the axial space over where you are, but the table is reinforcing that whole thing. You know, so maybe one of the things we might consider is maybe shifting the table, breaking the axis, and maybe redirecting some of the circulation
helping to
patterns.
Redefine this dining experience.
You know, and that brings up also the point of some of the ceiling qualities here, because we had talked about lowering the ceiling, and then maybe by manipulating the ceiling a little bit, we might be able to give this more of a sense of non-circulation, more of a sense of a stabilized space.
The dining room over the passageway.
Exactly. Yeah, we might try that before we leave today.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to? Well, I guess the other thing I wanted to talk about is another thing that there's an edge here, very strongly defined edge, and it's cutting like right through the table. So here's one of our social functions. So maybe the impact of this is a tendency to split the table, split the people at the table. So if the husband and wife and the two kids sit here, there's a split between them. Yep. And it may be by manipulating the space slightly, we might be able to make a better integration in this also very family function.
It's a table for 4, but it's also potentially a table for 6. Yeah. And the person that's sitting at this end is also right on axis with this very axial kitchen that's got a major vector moving in this direction.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's definitely another axis going through here. And you know, just in the few spaces that we've walked through, the sense I'm getting is that everything in this house is axis and circulation so far, and that the people are trying to work around the axis and work around the circulation patterns instead of really using the activities that have been set up for the enjoyment of life's functions, right? Everything is being surrounded by circulation. Yeah. Everywhere we're looking, there's these circulation spines, there's these axial spines, and the people they're being forced into violating the axis, which is another point of conflict, which is another potential point of stress.
Yeah. And the fact that one of the most important functions of the family, the social time around the dining room table, so this table becomes sort of an island in this sea of circulation.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
So, shall we keep going?
Let's move to
the
living room.
Move on to the next space.
Yeah. This would be the formal living room.
Yeah. Well, it's the axis has been flowing right through here, and this is really the thrust of from the entrance all the way through the house. And it's hitting this wall over here, which tends to make from this wall here all the way over to where you are, and all the way through the house, as this is all circulation now here.
Even this rug is accentuating this movement in this direction.
Right. So I would venture that they probably don't use this space right here very often, which means they're wasting a lot of space.
Right.
A lot of space being used for circulation is creating a great deal of wasted space. So this space is really starting as the public kind of like interactive living room space. It's really starting right here along the edge here.
Notice too how this wall right here, the vector on this wall, is sort of bifurcating the end of this couch.
Yeah, I'm lining myself right up on that wall, and it's hitting the couch in a sort of an odd spot. You know what really might help in here, Terry, is we talked about lowering the ceiling at the entrance. Maybe what we should do is create this lower ceiling coming all the way through and maybe stopping at the entrance to this space, and then maybe widening out or in some ways dividing some of this space from this space, and then try to develop an activity for this space so it doesn't just read as circulation all the time. Yeah. Another thing that I noticed is the organization of the furniture.
It's in that conflict
Well,
setting.
the way furniture is set up sets up the pattern of our usage of it and the usage of the space. So these couches, the way they are, if we were to sit in them, this is a sort of a, as you said, a confrontational thing. What we might consider doing to sort of work on this or lessen this feeling of confrontation between these two couches is reorganize them, relocate them in the space, and other things might happen, Yeah. This is almost the same kind of condition that exists in the dining room. So that here's another very vital social function, and you're leaning forward to talk to me because we want to have more of an intimate conversation. I'm leaning forward to talk to you, but in reality, we would be sitting back, like this.
Right, and this is beyond that magic 10-foot diameter thing when you're back at this level.
Yeah, it's forcing you to talk louder.
Exactly. So
so
there's also a bit of the intimacy process of socializing in this space that way. What we have over here in this space is sort of like the dead end of this corridor, this circulation path that's coming from the front entryway through the transition zone, through the dining room space, into this space here, and it's all circulation. It's at least 6 or 8 feet wide, and it's not a space that's used. However, if we were to put a piece of furniture right here,
right about where I am standing,
somewhere in there. For instance, this piece of rug. Let's use
let's
this
move it around. Let me get this end.
As let's put that right about there. A little bit more. Now,
we'll pretend this is a piece of furniture.
Yeah, assuming there's a piece of furniture at some height, maybe with a plan on it, which will help stop this energy.
Right.
It'll also create an opportunity for an axial change in direction,
right,
which honors the whole thing about transition from one space to another, and a new entryway into this living room, which then creates an opportunity over here.
And what can happen as a result of this is that this little spot and right in here can become like the arrival space for this public thing. And then at this point here, we have a choice of either going into the place where the couches are or over here into another kind of a sitting space.
Exactly.
And thereby we'll get some more use out of the volume that they're heating and cooling and cleaning and all the things that they have to do.
This might be a great place for like a round table, place to sit and play games, play cards.
Yeah,
nice
and it'll revitalize this whole space.
Absolutely.
Another thing we might do is play with some kind of a re-articulation of the ceiling plane here to maybe lower part of this here is in reference back to the front door that we were in, and thereby making this little corner a little like a more intimate, like a little seating space or much more intimate. So we have two levels of public interaction. We have an intimate public interaction and a public quality of interaction.
And by lowering this ceiling here, it'll make this ceiling feel higher.
Higher, and it'll make that more public in that sense.
For that space.
And also tend to keep breaking that axis. I think that the idea of the furniture is a very good idea because that's going to really help break that whole quality of the axis. Mm-hmm. Let's play with the furniture in here, and we'll ask them to try it for a week and see what happens. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's flip it around. Which way you want to go? Yeah, okay. Yeah, pretty much. Now, what does that do? Should put this chair back in here.
See, now it takes that table out of the circulation zone,
right,
which is now preserved.
Right, so this circulation spine maintains itself, and it doesn't invest itself into the dining space and makes this dining space more of a self-contained space.
What about these two chairs?
I'm not sure about them yet.
Maybe we step back and kind of see what.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
Changes that we've made, and because I think we've definitely taken the table out of circulation, and by locating this table here, we've helped to articulate this space. There's no ambiguity as to which way one gets from this room to that room. And there's only one clear path of circulation, which preserves this as a nice little quiet island, a place that social interaction now can really take place in a quiet place out of circulation path.
Yeah, I really think this is going to improve the social dynamic because all these axes that were going this way, now we have one going this way, and that's going to stop that flow through here that seems sort of chaotic, and make it more of a centralized thing for this eating function that they're all engaged in.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I hope it all works for them. You know, I think this is a good change, and I think this is a real positive change, and I like the way this is really, you know, defining this space and making it really work.
Also, the back of this
Yeah.
will relate nicely with the drop ceiling that we were talking about.
Yeah, and it'll recreate this space too.
And that ceiling, which is coming once again from the entryway, creating a lower ceiling, making that ceiling feel higher.
Yeah, I think it's a good change. And, you know, in making these changes, this is what this is all about. You know, making a change in the organization of the environment would change the pattern of its use, and that's going to hopefully change their behavior to a more positive and more, you know, self-fulfilling kind of quality to their life. Yeah, well, I think it's been a good consultation.
I think it's been a good
Yeah,
time.
thanks a lot. Let's move on.
Let's go to the next one.
Okay.